Almost screwed. Not that it
All right, we're
matters.
coming in hot with round 5. Jeremy Brain against Joshua Santangelo.
Oh yeah, we're coming in real hot. We got Escape Shift,
Yep.
burn spells on lands. So just your average red-green shift. He's being a coward today, not playing blue.
That's okay. We still like him.
Yeah,
Sure,
he's
why
got
not?
yeah, so your typical get to whatever 7 lands, cast Escape Shift, hopefully win the game. This is the other sort of Primeval Titan deck. We've seen a lot of Amulet today. And they're up, and he's up against
Blue White Control.
yeah,
Miracles.
those,
Traditional. Yeah, pretty OG for now.
4 Terminus, which are going to be very good in this matchup.
No, they're not.
But I think this is traditionally a bit of a tougher matchup for Blue Eye Control. It's not impossible by any means, but it's hard to interact with a Valakut land.
Yep.
The Blue White decks are obviously playing a ton of land hate in the form of Field of Ruin. So 4 Field of Ruin, 1 Ghost Warrior seems to be the norm.
Yep.
So we'll see how things go. If Josh can sort of play around that, maybe get a couple lands in before it bites the dust, or
Yeah.
if he can get obviously a prime time and get 2 Valakuts out, that's huge. But I mean, Jeremy's going to be looking for any targets he can with those counter spells.
For sure, for sure. And Jeremy running out the turn 2 snap here, realizing it's important to put that early pressure on, because Josh is pretty happy taking this game long and just playing land drops and doming you for 3 or 6 every single time, right?
Yeah, and we see Jeremy miss a land drop. Obviously, he mulled. I think he mulled to 5. So honestly, you're not going to be able to get anything to snap back with that. So he passed his own guy
That is
because
rough.
I mean, look, what are you really going to do with it? I mean, you might be able to counter a Primeval Titan. Oh man, Josh has got 2 prime times and Escape Shift. That's the problem with the Escape Shift deck. Sometimes it just ramps, but it can't find a way to kill.
Yeah.
Which
He's
is
sitting on payoffs. He's got payoffs for days.
Yeah.
And next turn he's got a prime time. This is not looking good for Jeremy. He's gonna have that.
But
Logic
honestly,
Knot up.
but pathing his own snap turned on Logic Knot for him.
Yeah.
Which is huge. So I mean, he was looking for that terminus, but I mean, it doesn't do
Yeah, you
anything.
run out this option and try and find another one to drop.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect your.
Yeah, take that Field of Ruin.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Put
a
it on
bad
the,
one.
Put it on the battlefield. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he has a Cryptic in hand, so he's going to be able to knot this turn and then Cryptic next turn, so that'll at least handle 2 of the win cons. Josh actually slow rolling. He wants to get that peck damage in. He's
Well,
like,
I mean, and it's also like if you get to resolve your Primeval Titan, and then your next mountain deals 3 or deals 6, I should say.
but
so
he
that's
didn't
pretty
He didn't crack the Steve to get the land for prime time.
Yeah, but why bother when you have a fetch in hand anyway? You have the 6 land in your hand.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, he had the land. So
Oh, I didn't see that. Well, that totally changes my
no,
commentary.
no huge reason to do that. But he drew the 3rd Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Jeremy's gonna need to hit counterspell to counterspell to counterspell to counterspell. Yeah. So Josh is pretty happy with that result.
Yeah, he's hit 6 lands. He has an effective 7 should he need it.
He's already got 5 mountains, which is pretty sweet. So.
And Valakut's going to be online.
Yeah,
I really like getting in the peck damage here, putting Jeremy at that precarious 18.
Is he going to try to kill him now with Escape Shift?
I don't think he is.
I think you have to respect Cryptic Command a little bit here. Do you want to play the mountain here?
I think you wait on the mountain, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're still going to get punished by Logic Knot either way. It's still going to beat you. I like holding that mountain in case the prime time resolves and you can just dome him with the land drop.
So Jeremy's looking to play. Like he's got to be thinking. He's played 2 Primal Titans. This looks like the best spot. It's unlikely that he has a 3rd payoff, to be honest. And he needs to start recovering that from that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like he has any more interaction. So even if he does have a 3rd answer, then we're in rough shape.
Let's hope he has
So
it
now
here.
he's thinking about, do I sack this Sacrifice Tribe Scout, because if I need to play for Logic Knot for 4. So interesting that he didn't sack this Tribe Scout there.
He wants to kill Teferi with the Tribe Scout. That's the dream.
That's a big dream. But like here, he could have got Logic Knot, right?
He could be knotted here.
So,
But I don't
Why
think
not
Jeremy
sack
has
your
it.
Why not sack your Steve and
And be able to play and pay the 4.
And then be able to pay, right?
What?
I mean, it is.
Yeah, no, maybe.
I just don't see the one. I mean, the chip damage.
He's like pretty hyped on the
Yeah.
chip damage. He got in with
I
it.
mean, 18 is a good number, right?
18 is the right number.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah, no,
we had
maybe.
7 lands.
I think once you've hit your opponent to 18, I think it's pretty okay to just get that extra mana from Steve and just like you said,
Yeah.
be
Well,
able
I mean, he would have
be
been
able to pay for the knot there, which is really relevant because the leak doesn't do it, but the knot could have been for exactly 4, which that extra land would have been super relevant.
And I mean, obviously,
idea.
Josh has another Primeval Titan.
Yeah, Josh
Could have
doesn't
4
care.
payoffs. He doesn't really care at the end of the day, but.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think you should have cracked that Steve.
Is there any consideration for playing the 3rd Primeval Titan? Because I know a lot of these blue-white decks are playing the main board negate, which Jeremy Brain is playing the 1 of negate. So obviously, when you have so many payoffs, you don't need to think too much. But there are these like really small, minor things. Not to knock Josh. He's been actually destroying
Yeah,
these
he's been
HTCS
crushing with
events.
Scape Shift. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reaching out to him a lot for some advice, and he just says get good, and
Yeah.
that's about it. He says play
Honestly,
a good deck.
doesn't even spell get correctly.
I know,
or
right?
good.
Makes me feel real bad. But he's been on Scape Shift for a long time, so he knows his way around the deck.
He does, yeah. He can count to 18.
Oh yeah, and once he dropped the blue, the deck fit his IQ a little bit more. So
Just streamlined it.
Yeah, he's been doing really
Less
good.
colors, smash more. I think
Exactly.
is a direct quote.
Yeah, that's actually all he can say.
he doesn't really communicate with his opponents. He just points at things and says smash.
Yeah. So what are we looking at for sideboarding for these players? I mean, you're more of a blue-white specialist. Do you sort of have a go-to?
So he's got a Vendilion click. That's fantastic. Yeah, so we definitely want to bring in the Vendilion click and the negates. Everything else sucks. No. There's a world where you can Crucible him out of the game. It's just very unlikely. If he has a lot to cut, you can bring in an Angel, and there are points late where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to play this Angel. If I untap with it, maybe I have a chance at crushing you with it and holding up counter spells.
Or I can counter all of the Scape Shifts for the big burst damage.
Yep.
And then I just need to survive you playing a mountain every turn.
Yeah. Although when he plays a mountain with 2 Valakits, then that's
Bye Lyra.
bye Lyra.
But then you can go like use your Cryptic to bounce your Lyra and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to like negate some of the damage.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word negate because
Sure. So I
negate
like
does not counter lands.
I like those inclusions, and then you can
Cut all of the
yeah,
sweepers. The Terminuses.
Timely's not going to be good ever, right?
Settle seems terrible.
Settle's bad. Yeah, so you've got a lot to cut. He'll probably be able to fit the Angels. I actually really like. He's not running any Surgicals in this list, and I actually really like Surgical in this matchup because you can get a Valakut. Sometimes your opponent has to play it out because it's their land drop for the turn, and then you can snipe it with Field of Ruin and Surgical it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So is Josh bringing in some more creatures, alternate win cons in case of that surgical?
Yeah, I'll try it as well.
Yeah, I think he definitely is bringing in some of the grindy creatures. He's probably bringing in the Tireless Tracker. He's probably bringing in the Baloths. And I don't think there's anything else he really wants to bring in.
Everything else looks pretty good.
Yeah, what is he cutting? I guess he's cutting. He'll probably cut the Anger, the 2 Flame Slashes, and the Sweltering Suns for those 4 creatures, and that's pretty clean.
Oh, okay. And so we've already started here. We've had Jeremy getting a turn 2 Surge Commander, which I think is huge. Just to be able to smooth out his draws, find those counter spells.
Yeah,
which I
hit
think
those
is-
land
is
drops, find
key.
those counter spells.
Yeah, if that thing can flip and start generating some advantage for you, finding the specific cards. The problem is it's just so hard for these blue-white decks to sort of apply pressure to Scape Shift. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like Scape Shift can handle the long game by doming you for 3 or 6 every turn.
And then a lot of the times your chip damage comes in the form of Snapcasters and Vendilion Cliques, and those just die to a single trigger. Right? So
very, very rough.
same thing, like Valakut can dome Planeswalkers too, so it's really hard to ultimate those to fairies and sort of get any real advantage out of, or any real finishing power out of Jace.
Sure. It's definitely
Okay,
a
so we see
matchup.
the
He
Rec Sage
resolves a Rec Sage.
come out.
Yeah.
Is there something really that you want this Rec Sage for?
It's really only hitting as Kanta and D-Sphere, unless you're trying to, unless you're expecting your opponent to have Ruined Halo for some reason.
That's fair.
Right? I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe Josh has nightmares about that card and brings in Rec Sage against blue-white players now.
Yeah. I mean, he's on Summoner's Pack too, so you can almost use these green creatures as like sort of a toolbox.
Yeah, for sure.
In a pinch, like you said, if you have something that I don't know what bringing it in game 2, but you're right. Maybe he has nightmares about that card. Maybe.
I mean, it was great here, but that's not necessarily like a reason for the inclusion because it was good in that particular scenario. I think the card is okay. I'm not excited. Maybe he wanted to cut the relics because he had 2 relics main board, and maybe he wanted to cut those. But I don't hate the relics either, right?
Well, the funny thing is, I'm curious to see how much damage this Rec Sage racks up over the next few turns, right? Because like you're assuming that a lot of Jeremy's spot removal and sweepers are all out of the deck, right? Like, I think you keep in paths.
Yeah, you probably have paths.
Primal Titan and stuff because you can answer the Valakutes, but depending on what he has to bring in. Oh, and there's the D-Sphere.
Whoa, that is.
I mean, Josh is playing cards like Colony Heart Expedition, which would have targets for D-Sphere would have targets for.
I'm more interested in the fact that
I'm pretty happy to have my Rec Sage D-Sphered.
Yeah, you also 2-for-1 with your Rec Sage. That feels great.
That's huge. And then and there we go. I can see the Colony Heart in Josh's hand, and followed with Escape Shift backup. Like,
drawing a card to see what he wants to do first. Yeah, you drew the Tireless Tracker here too.
Tracker's a little bit awkward. I'm surprised. Oh, I don't think he has 2 lands. He was trying to find the land because I think he wanted to go Colony land.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work out that way.
Plays out his Valakut.
Are you super happy to play that Valakut out? Or
I don't think you're super happy.
Would you rather at least get your clue out of it by doing it next turn?
I think you still. I think you have to develop your mana.
Maybe he's thinking like if he taps out for a Teferi in that spot, he can go land, sack, Escape Shift, I win.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he would be dead because the Steve would hit him for 1 before he did that. So he brought in the Relic as well. Maybe just had to take out a bunch of bad cards.
I think the Relics were main board. I think he had 2 Relics main.
Oh, I definitely saw one side.
He's got 2 main and another one side.
Okay, so I mean that card's not bad. It's essentially cantrip.
He definitely cut Flame Slash and the 2 Wraths. I don't really. Maybe he's cutting both, I guess.
So countering the Tireless Tracker, how do you feel about
I think well, what Jeremy's doing here is he's digging for lands because he missed his land drop there.
But I mean, he has a Telling Time.
Is that what that was?
I believe his list is playing Telling Time. Let me double check that here. Maybe I'm crazy.
I think I think that's the weird that card on the far right.
Yeah.
I think that's a negate.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the new
fancy art negate.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I thought I would show off because I know the art of Telling Time because I played way too much of that card in Modern. I'm not proud of myself.
And honestly, Telling Time would have fit just fine in this archetype.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think you're excited about using Cryptic on a Tireless Tracker there. But
I mean, you have the negate, and I'm assuming that he just drew that path. Because otherwise, I think he'd much rather throw that path.
The problem with the path is that your opponent's still getting 1 clue. Because they're gonna Tireless Tracker, hit their land drop, get the clue.
So but the thing is, Josh didn't have a land drop, and he missed a land drop the previous turn. But I guess because of the Steve, but you could sort of play.
But I mean, you're gonna
there's like a weird sort of dance there where it's like, if I path, he's gonna pop the Steve, and he's probably not gonna pop the Steve until I path. So
yeah, so that gets interesting. But I think Crypticing to hit the land drop is very appropriate here. And now it's turn 7 and he's hit his 6th land. So at least he's not that far behind.
Yeah. So now he gets to do something like he gets to play Jace with maybe backup or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And this is the turn where he's sort of clenching, right? He's like, okay, if I can get away with this and not lose the game or not fall super far behind before it comes back to my turn, then he feels like he's in a much, much better spot. That being said, Josh does have a Valakut in play. So he went for a Brainstorm. So we're probably going to see that Steve finally bite the dust.
And murk that Jace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still do think, especially with Josh on very few cards, it's probably still very correct to get this brainstorm off. You want to go for the alt kill, but I think
2 or 3.
digging towards more interaction is really important here.
So how different would this game have been if Josh didn't have the Rec Sage for that?
Well,
Search
Jeremy
response.
would be very ahead,
Yeah,
which is just
so
hilarious.
It's funny how like those cards work out, and some of those decisions work out. Where maybe me and you would say like, oh, you know what, maybe Rec Sage isn't very good in this matchup. I wouldn't bring it in, but maybe this is gonna be a lot of damage.
This is where like.
So here's the thing
Josh
about
is like really happy doing.
So
I mean, he goes for a pretty aggressive scape shift, but I think it's like it's fine. He doesn't care.
the weird thing about that is, would you not pop your Relic first in case you're worried about Logic Knot?
Yes. And Josh had the read though. Obviously, he had the
He
read.
knew that he's
My
like,
opponent
he's got the
negate.
negate. It's all good. It don't matter.
All right,
Okay.
he hits the Valkyrie. I'm kind of surprised
So
that
there's
he
no
didn't.
colony pop there.
I'm really surprised he didn't pop the colony there. But I guess maybe he can.
Do we have a basic mountain count?
Yeah,
for
let's have
Josh's
a quick
deck?
look.
So right now he's got
it might be 2.
6 in play.
He's wait. Oh, basic mount. Basic forest is 2. Basic mountain is 6.
So he's done for basic mountains.
Yeah, that's actually
That's
probably why he didn't crack his colony.
Yeah.
So colony's dead.
Yeah, and he's got all of his basics in play.
Yeah, he drew a lot of basics. That's very, very awkward.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's
I
not
mean,
cracking this relic here
yeah.
because he needs to find gas.
Also, I think cracking that relic when he was tapped out as well. Like, if you're not going to do it before the Logic Knot, I think there's another opportunity before you can get any snap value out of it. But, I mean, maybe he's looking to just build up a couple cards, find another Valakut,
Cards in hand.
do it all over again.
Yeah, Josh
there
doesn't
might
have-
be stuff like Obstinate Bailouts in his deck as well.
He did only have the 1 tracker, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does have the bailouts. He can always smash with prime time.
And I was just gonna say, does Jeremy just start hitting with this colonnade? Like, he knows that if Josh starts to find a Valakut, he doesn't know obviously how many mountains are in his deck as well. If he's thinking there might be 1 more or something, if Josh finds like a Primal Titan or something that goes unanswered, then we're in trouble. And now Josh is like, okay, you know what? He's starting to hit with colonnade. I have 4 more turns. Let's start finding some more cards.
Yeah.
Oh.
I could have sworn that Jeremy had a Teferi. When he Jace brainstormed, there was a Teferi. So I'm really surprised he went for the colonnade hit instead of the Teferi. I like the Teferi more, I think.
Yeah.
Negate's gonna hit this
So
pack.
Josh,
And then Josh is gonna go for this.
is there a reason to play the?
Is it lethal?
Uh,
I guess he gets.
is there enough?
Oh, I guess he has enough. He
gets
has enough
3,
shocks.
Yeah.
He can get like a bunch of Valakuts and then a couple shocks, and it's enough.
Yeah.
So he
I don't
baits
know.
him.
It's always a good habit just to make them do it. To be
Yeah.
completely honest.
Yeah, show me how many
I mean,
mountains
he
you
had
have in
no
your
more.
deck.
He had no more basic mountains.
Yeah.
He had a Stomping Ground and a Cinderglade in play. So I don't know.
I mean, he's probably running playsets above or like a 4 and 2 or something.
Let's see. So he had 2 more
4 and
Cinderglades
3.
and 3. So yeah, he did have 5 more mountains, but.
Yeah.
You don't know that. Maybe he has like E in the board and he's got like a breeding pool or something like that. So
Just go light that card.
maybe that's not the best choice of.
Maybe
like
it should be
like
a Steam
Steam
Vent.
Vents or something. Yeah.
But
Josh is allergic to blue, so. But yeah, I mean that's just it. He drew enough threats. He drew two win cons off his thing, and there you go.
Yeah, that was a really, really great turn for Josh. And yeah, I think baiting him with the pack was fantastic.
Yeah,
You
good
know?
plays, good plays.
Can you handle this?
We'll
Yeah,
figure it out
well,
as we go.
can you handle this?
Pump it louder.
But I know some people.
All right, you'll see you in round 6.
Stuff is set now.